Have you ever come home from work completely drained, even though you didn't do anything physically? Well, I've been there. Early in my career, I worked for a company that was completely out of alignment with my values, although I didn't realize it at the time. Everything at this company was about cutting corners, the cheapest operations, the lowest budgets, just enough effort to keep things running. You can imagine how that affected morale. My role was to negotiate candidates down to the lowest possible salary, never to find the best fit, just the cheapest. And of course, that backfired. The hires weren't qualified, team energy was low, productivity dropped, and the cycle kept repeating. I worked harder than anyone. First one in, last one out. I had the highest results on the team, but I still felt miserable. If I was doing that well and I still felt awful, imagine how everyone else felt. That wasn't burnout from doing too much. It was burnout from doing the wrong things. Living out of alignment with your purpose is exhausting. And working for people who only chase money, they'll drain you faster than any to-do list. Eventually, I had to make a decision. I left. And it took me only 2 weeks. I landed an opportunity at a nonprofit. That role changed everything for me. I met people who were living with intention, who actually care about the work. And being in that energy, it lit me up. That nonprofit job opened the doors I could never think of. When you start living on alignment on purpose, especially in your career, you unlock an energy that you didn't even know it was there. So let's talk about why that happens. Hi, I'm Danna and welcome back to Right on Track, the place where we align your career with your calling so you can live with intention and show up with impact. So let's get into it. Most people think fatigue comes from doing too much, but often it actually comes from doing too little of what matters. I've had roles that were challenging in different ways, but what made the biggest difference wasn't the workload. It was the mission. When I didn't believe in what I was doing, I found myself rushing just to get tasks off my plate. I wanted it done and over with. There was no connection, just completion. In my current role, even though the responsibilities are just as demanding, I still have tight agendas, constant meetings, endless emails. The big difference is that I show up differently. I treat the work with care and intention because I care. The difference isn't in the task, it's in the energy that I bring. And it's not about motivation or ambition, it's deeper. It's your soul saying, this isn't it. When your work doesn't align with your deeper values, it slowly chips away at your energy. And over time, that disconnection becomes your norm. Until one day, you wake up and wonder, why am I always so tired? But here is the good part. Alignment changes everything. Today, I work in a very challenging market, but I love it. I'm eager to show up. I value my coworkers. I value my leadership because they care. That alone makes all the difference. And this, what I'm doing right now, talking to you on this channel, this fuels me too. It feels like I'm having a conversation with a friend. It gives me energy, it lights me up, and it flows into everything else I do. That's the power of living on purpose. Here's the truth. Living on purpose doesn't mean life suddenly gets easier. It means it becomes more energizing because now you're putting your time into something that lights you up instead of draining you. Purpose brings clarity, and clarity gives you energy. That's why people who are aligned in their careers often seem like they're on fire. They have tapped into something deeper than just productivity. They are fueled by meaning. These are people who rise, not because the path is smoother, just because it's theirs. Their journey isn't easier. It's just aligned. Because when you're on the right path, every step builds momentum. But if you're walking in circles, out of alignment, you could be working just as hard and getting nowhere. Purpose is what breaks that cycle. So how does this actually apply to your career? It doesn't mean you need to walk away from your job tomorrow. It means you start getting honest with yourself by asking the right questions. What kind of impact do I want to make through my work? What parts of my current role energize me and what parts drain me? What kind of company or mission do I actually believe in? And how can I start bringing more alignment into my day-to-day? Sometimes that means shifting your mindset. Other times, it means exploring a new role or even starting something on the side. But it all starts with paying attention to what gives you energy, not just what gives you a paycheck. Because fulfillment doesn't come from chasing more. It comes from alignment with what matters. Here's a small step that can create a big shift. Write it down. Write down what energizes you. Write down the moments when you feel the most alive at your work. Those aren't random. That's your inner compass trying to guide you. When you revisit those notes, you start to see patterns. And those patterns will start pointing you toward your purpose. But here's the thing, clarity without action leads nowhere. Someone once told me, if you're drifting with no purpose, congratulations, you've arrived. And guess what? It looks a lot like nowhere. Living on purpose isn't just some feel-good cliche. It's a powerful strategy that brings real energy, clarity, and fulfillment to your career. So if you're exhausted, not from doing too much, but from doing too little of what matters, it's time for a shift. If this hit home, like and subscribe, and let's keep you moving forward on your purpose-driven path. I'm Danna, this is Right on Track, and I'll see you next time.